Hello everyone, welcome to SwiftUI guide, because yes, this is the last episode of our live streams, and it's called SwiftUI guide for a reason, because we are going to guide you through SwiftUI basics. And why am I showing SwiftUI Camp here? That's because that's the next level. You want to upgrade to the next level from SwiftUI Guide to SwiftUI Camp. Now, before we dive into today's episode, and today we are going to talk about how to add SwiftUI into UIKit and UIKit into SwiftUI and how to handle all of that data. But before we do that, let me just remind you that the gates will close on SwiftUI Camp this midnight. So in a few hours, I will close the gates. Whoever gets in, gets in. After that, you will have to wait at least 2 months for this to open up again. So what is SwiftUI Camp, you ask? Well, it is kind of, think of like a coaching, a personal coaching, and while we do that, we are building out this iMessage app. By the way, if you are here, go ahead and leave a hello in the chat section and let me know where are you from. And yeah, go ahead and ask me any questions about SwiftUI and what I will be building up about. So if you have questions of how I did this with UIKit, just let me know in the chat below. So we are going to build out the iMessage app. That's where I left off. And yeah, we are not going to just build out a message app, which is, you can just Google it or whatever. We are going to go really deep into SwiftUI. We are going to learn a lot of cool tips and tricks. And the most important part here is that we are going to do this through a long period of time. So throughout 16 Zoom sessions on 2 months, like 8 weeks. Hey, hi Alpar. Mehmet, hello from Turkey. Hello there. Glenn Adams from New York City. Hello from Syria. Sorry, I cannot read that, but hopefully if you have something of an English pronounced name, just let me know again on the chat. And John Luis from Brazil, but living in Florida. Okay, really nice. Welcome all. Go ahead and ask your questions. And yeah, welcome for the new ones. Also, leave your location in the chat section. Okay, so to continue, what is SwiftUI Camp? It is going to take place in 2 hours long sessions and in 1.5 hour coaching and half an hour of Q&A, because yes, I really do know that this Q&A session is crucial. So you ask me questions, I get feedback, you get feedback of how I thought, of what you don't know. So yeah, this is really important. Okay, so yeah, why you need a coach? Well, basically because you will not learn this by just Googling around or searching on Stack Overflow. What you need to do is just learn that SwiftUI is basically data handling. So under the hood, SwiftUI is driven by the data that you provided. And yeah, I don't see this mentioned quite a lot in SwiftUI tutorials. Yeah, Apple is just kind of showing its new shiny thing with those stacks and buttons and labels. But the main point here with SwiftUI is that you have to learn how to use your data. And we are going to do that in Module 2 with MVVM. So model view model and model view model. So the next part will be, because yeah, this is a chat application, we are going to add a backend to it. And as you know, my favorite backend service is Firebase. So we're going to connect it with Firebase. We're going to do that with Swift Package Manager. Also, we are going to sign in with Apple through Firebase. Really nice. And we're going to create some CRUD for users and messages, real-time logic, and the icing on the cake, text, images, and these rich links. You know, when you just send on iMessage, let's say a YouTube video, it's get populated, and you can just either tap on it that it plays, or you just navigate away to that app. Okay, now there are 3 modules, but the 4th module, yeah, kind of, is whatever you want to learn. So once you join, I will be asking you a lot of questions of what you actually want to learn in SwiftUI, and of course combine or Firebase or MVVM. Just let me know after that. Okay, so I see that there are any other comments here, so I will just move on. Yeah, just so you know, I have to repeat this. This will be taken down midnight in about 5 hours from now. And yeah, if you want to join, go ahead and do so at store.rebeloper.com/SwiftUI-camp. The link is on the screen and it will be in the description also. So yeah, and it will start on January 18th, so in 3 days. So yeah, last time, last chance. And of course, there are only 2 seats available, and first come, first serve. Awesome. So let's dive into today's topic, and that is adding UIKit into SwiftUI and SwiftUI into UIKit, and how to handle data. So put on your xcode shoes, because this will not be a sprint, this will be a marathon. So yeah, bear with me, go through the video really slow, or rewatch it, because yeah, I do think that you will have to rewatch this, but trust me, it will make sense eventually. After, yeah, just rewatch the whole video again if you are confused about, or yeah, if you are watching it live, go ahead and leave a question on the chat. I will try to answer that as soon as possible, as soon as I just get notified here, so I can see that there are new messages here. Okay. Thank you. You're the best SwiftUI and SwiftUI teacher. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's dive into our project. By the way, the downloadable resources are in the description. And if you have been following along these live streams, you know that I have the SwiftUI guide project already prepared. We have some tab views, and today we are going to create our final 5th tab view. So let's just create a new file here. It will be a SwiftUI file. So SwiftUI view, sorry. We only have Swift files for SwiftUI views. And I will name this tab 5 view. So tab 5 view. Okay, let's just create this and go to the app and just copy out this part and paste it in there, tab 5 view, and let's just tag this as number 4. Yeah, if you don't know how tab views work, go ahead and check out the whole playlist. The link is in the description also. And I'm talking about this tab, I believe, on the second one. Yeah, I believe I was talking about that on the second session. So the selected tab will be 4, so we don't have to navigate away. This will be automatically added here. Oh, so your name is Ayad, who said that you're the best Swift and SwiftUI teacher. Okay, thank you very much for replying to my request. So yes, Ayad. Okay, so yeah, we are here with the 4th view and the 5th view, and I just realized after our last session that the flame.fill is added here twice. So let's open up SF symbols and let's change tab 4 view, and also a search for our 5th one. So let's see, maybe gaming. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. All you have to do is just, let's see here, human maybe, or nature. Let's just choose nature. So let's just do drop triangle fill or whatever. I'm just going to copy this name out and paste it in there. Okay, and let's just go with the aunt.fill. Just copy that name. It doesn't relate to anything to the contents, but yeah, it looks cool. So let's just build and run this project and see the 5th view. Oystein Günther, hello from Norway. Hello there. And Vitaly Yakolev, I hope I didn't butcher your name again there. Hello from Russia. This is the best Swift programmer again. Oh, thank you very much. So here we have our 5th view, and let's just jump right into our tab 5 view, and let's just start creating some awesome stuff. And yeah, why would you need to create, like, why would you need UIKit at all? And that's because there are still some parts from SwiftUI that are missing. And today we are going to talk about that. And the first thing that pops into mind is the UI image picker controller. Yeah, we don't have something like that. And we are going to use, let me just open this up. This is what we are going to do. We are going to create an image picker view and then a settings view controller. Yeah, so basically, let's just start off with the image picker view. We will go through all of these 10 steps. Yeah, I told you this will be a marathon. So let's start off with the image picker view. So I just create a new file here. And let it be a Swift file. And that is an image picker view. So image picker view. Here there will be a lot of typing today. And I have prepared here that I can just take a look if I have some questions on these files, because yeah, there will be quite a lot. So let's just jump right into it, and let's just import here SwiftUI. So SwiftUI, and let's just import UIKit, because yeah, we are going to add in here our UI image picker controller. So what we are going to use here is something called a UI view controller representable. So we are going to represent our view controller inside this image picker view. So to do that, let's just start off with a struct. So struct, and its name will be image picker view. Let me just stop this. We are doing this image picker view, and this needs to adhere to UI view controller representable. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this will throw an error because yeah, we need some stuff here. So let me just fix this. And as you can see, or I could just type out type alias and it will autocomplete, but we need to set the UI view controller type. And of course, that will be our UI image picker controller. Okay, so we have UI image picker controller, and that's important to add this type alias right now, because on the next part, as you can see, we still have some errors. On this next part, we need to add the make UI view controller and the update UI view controller, and that will have some default values, you will see, and it will auto-populate UI image picker controller. If you chose UI image or UI view controller or whatever else you want to create a representable for, that will also be added in here. So let's just start typing make UI view controller, and here you can see that context. So, and it will return a UI image picker controller. How awesome is that? Okay, so that's the first one that we want to add in here, and the second one is update. So update UI view controller. Okay, so for this update, we are not going to use this. We are not going to update the UI image picker controller from our hosting SwiftUI view, but we will do that in just a sec. Well, not in just a second, in a few minutes when we will get there. But at this point, we don't need to add it in here. But again, the function still needs to be added. Okay, so let me just see the chat here. Nothing new. Go ahead and leave your comments or just say where are you from. Okay, so let's start off with make UI view controller, and that is pretty simple. We want to create a controller that is UI image picker controller. Okay, and let's just return that. Return our controller. So we have made our image picker controller. How awesome is that? And now with this just set up, we are kind of done with the image picker view. We will talk about the delegates in just a second, but let's just move this and let's go to tab view 5, and let me just create here like a button where we can just initiate this image picker view. So let me just take a look at our other file here. There we go. So yeah, first of all, we want to create a vstack as usual. So vstack, and in there let's just create a button. Why not? Let's create a button here, and that button, I would just choose the one with the action and label. If you don't know how to do this, you just came here for the first time, yeah, just take a look at the previous episodes. Hi Sam. Yeah, unfortunately the best cuffs of yeah, I don't really know what you were trying to do. If you just tell me in English, then that would be helpful. Okay, so let's move on. Here we got our action, our label. Now for our label, let's just add for now, let's just add an image. Let's see here, a system name image, and I will just add in here a camera. And yeah, let's just set a font here because this will be quite small. So let's just go large title. Okay, now for the button, yeah, we should present this image picker view, and we are going to present it in a sheet. So to present that inside the sheet, let's just start typing out this sheet. So sheet on that button. I'd really like to use is presented with the content. I was talking about how to create a sheet yesterday, so yeah, again, link for the playlist in the description. So we need a binding for is presented, and let's just create that, and at state, there we go, var is image picker view presented equals false. Yeah, because we don't want to have that as false. Okay, so is image picker view presented can be added right over here. So $, we are binding it, and the content will be our image picker view. So image picker view. There we go. And how do we actually present this sheet? Well, we want to grab this image picker view presented and set it to true. So let's see what we got till this point, and maybe let's just add in here a spacer so it will be just pushed all the way up. What's wrong here? Let's see, let's hit Command R again. Image picker view presented. This is strange. Yes, I think I need to remove this part. That kind of junk. Yes. So let's build it up. Honestly, I don't know why xcode and auto-completion puts that in there, but yeah, hopefully I will take a look at that soon. So yeah, here we have our end, and let's just tap on this, and let's just wait for the image picker view to be presented. And as you can see, we can select any of these, but yeah, it's just got dismissed. Or if I just tap on the cancel button, yeah, it just gets dismissed and nothing really happens. So what we want to do is just have this image being like replaced with the actually selected image. So for that, we want to use some delegates. So we want to know when this was cancelled, and we want to know when an image has been selected. So yeah, we want to go into image picker view and add some other stuff here. And we are going to do that inside an extension. So extension, image picker view. And we are going to create a new class here called delegate. Okay, now this delegate needs to be, first of all, oh, sorry about this auto-completion. First of all, this delegate needs to conform to MS object. Okay, and then we are going to add in here the UI image picker controller delegate. So UI image picker controller delegate. And also, if you do know how to use UI image picker controller from UIKit, you also know that you need to adhere to UI navigation controller delegate. Okay, so now we should see that yeah, let's just hit Command B, so we get rid of that, those errors. And now we are going to add in the actual functions for our delegate. And the first one comes to mind is just image picker, and this one. So image picker controller did finish picking media with info. So it's a long one, but essentially what we got here is our image. So let's just go here and just go selected image equals a UI image. So an empty UI image. And you will see why I want to have this variable set as selected image. And let's just move down. So if let, so we are going to use edited images or non-editable images. So first of all, let edited image equals, so we want to grab this from the info, and it goes like so, edited image as UI image. So if we do have our edited image, then we go selected image equals our edited image. Okay, else if let's see, let's just name this let original image equals, again we are grabbing it from the info, dot original image as UI image. So if we got that original, then the selected image will be our original image. Okay, so finally we want to kind of propagate this up, this selected image, to our image picker views delegate. So for that we are going to use completions, and let's just create one here. So private let, let's just call this let us just change this, and I will just call it select, and let's just go, I'm just going to add in here a UI image, and then let's just close that. Okay, so we have this did select UI image, and now we can just append this here, did select and our selected image. Okay, but now we need to create an initializer here. So let's just create that init, and let's just add did select. Okay, let's just close this, and now self dot did select equals did select. And I think we also already need here an let's see, an escaping. Yes, so that will fix that, and hopefully now we get rid of all the errors. Let's hit Command B, and now we got our did select. Okay, build has succeeded. Really, really nice. So what we want to do is add this delegate to our image picker view. So to do that, we are just going to declare that right over here. And of course, we again going to add in an initializer. So let delegate, and that delegate will be of type UI image picker controller and UI navig, not $, and UI navigation controller, and we are going to initialize it. So init, let's just go and let's just copy this out and paste it in there, and that's closed over there. So self.delegate equals our delegate. Okay, let's hit Command B, and now we should get rid of all the errors, but not really, because what errors do we have? Yes, there's a missing parameter here. So let's just add that in there, or yes, or maybe let's just start typing it out again. So image view, and then we're just going to use a delegate. Now this delegate is from image picker view dot delegate. and now we can construct it with the did select. And let's just hit return again, and we got our image. Really, really nice. I know this is kind of going, yeah, it's a long circle, but you get the idea. So what we want to add in here is now a selected image state variable. So at state var selected image, and that will be of type UI image, and it will be optional, and you will see in a moment why. And also I'm setting the default value to nil. Okay, in just a second you will understand why this is nil as a default value. So now that we got our image in the image picker view, we want to go selected image equals our image. And now we are having our selected image in that state variable. So in order to use that, we really need, just a second here, we really need to add like that into our buttons label right over here. So what we're going to do is if selected image equals nil, so we didn't select an image just yet or at all, then we will present this image with a camera. Else, we want to populate this into an image, and this time around I will just go with UI image and selected image. Tricky, eh? So now that we got that, and I think that, yes, we need, yes, so I think that we can safely bang that out, because we know that, not that one, but the selected image, because at this point on the else statement we do know that selected image is actually not nil. So yeah, let's just have a resizable here, and let's have a frame. Let's just go with maybe 200. I found that to be really, really nice. 200. And alignment, I don't care about the alignment, let's just delete that. And scaled to fit. And finally, let's just a corner radius of 100. Okay, so yeah, we got a long way here, but let's just build and run and see what happens. And I think basically nothing will happen. Well, we should see something, but it's not what we actually want. So let's just select this one. Let me just see. Oh, yes, we didn't set up the delegate. So what I mean by that is that we need to go into the image picker view, and when we create our controller, we want to go controller, because now we do have a delegate. Delegate equals our delegate. Okay, so let's hit Command R and see what this looks. Maybe at this point we will not get the dismissal, and we will also fix that, but that will be just the next part. So, okay. And yeah, I'm tapping on this, nothing. Yeah, it was dismissed. Really, really nice, but yeah, I do want to make this really, really nice. So, at this point, we got this one. What gives? We don't have that corner radius. Let me just double check here. Well, maybe I would just fix this later on. It doesn't really matter. I would have liked this image to be with the corner radius of 100. Yeah, maybe that's because the sheet is dismissed. We will take care of this later, or maybe just take a look at the source code later on after our session, because yeah, it's not that important. So what I want to add in here is an is presented. So this sheet, so I want to dismiss when I tap on console and when I ever selected this one, but an image. But it actually doesn't dismiss automatically. It did here, but I tapped multiple times. It wasn't working, trust me. So we want to add this into the image picker view. So what I'm going to add in here is, let me just go into the image picker view, and then onto the delegate. I'm just going to add in here, before did select, is presented. Okay, so this needs to be a binding because yeah, we are going to we need to propagate this data up to our tab5 view. So let's just have a binding here of bool. Okay, so also we need to store it. So let's just create our binding, let's say right over here. So at binding, the var is presented, and that will be of type bool, a body bool. Okay, so now what we want to add in here is self is presented dot. Yeah, and we want to get the wrap value of the is presented binding, so we are going to add it with an underscore is presented, and then the is presented that we are adding here. And basically that's it. Now we have that binding. So whenever we do select our image, we want to go is presented equals false. Okay, and that will dismiss the actual sheet. Okay, so while we are here, let's just add in here the console also. So console image picker controller did console. So yeah, basically what we are going to do is go is presented equals false. But I do want to add kind of a completion that we have here. So let me just create this real quick. So private let did console, because maybe we want to do something else on the tab4 view whenever we console. So yeah, that's always a good thing, but we are not going to add any data to that completion. I'm just going to go, yeah, and before we just use this did console, let's just add it right over here. So let's just copy this out. So did console, and we are going to take care of the escaping with that error fix. Let's just fix this. Well, yeah, let me just copy this out and paste it in there. Okay, so yeah, we need to add that also right over here. Self did console equals did console. Let's hit Command B, and now everything should be okay. Of course, it fails on that whenever we initialize this image picker view with the delegate. We don't have did cancel, but we will do that in just a second. All I want to do here, well, let's just add it right over here before is presented is set to before we dismiss it. So did console, come on, did console, and yeah, basically just that with an empty initializer. Okay, so let's go back to tab5 view, and now let's just create this delegate again. So let me just move that, and image picker view dot delegate, and now we have is presented, did select, and did console. So is presented, let's just bind that to is image picker view presented. Did select, again, we get our image here. Ernest asked, do you have a crash when you switch tabs? What do you actually mean when I switched? Yeah, so on this example project, yeah, those other projects. Okay, and don't forget to like, subscribe if you do enjoy this series. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And if you have any other questions, go ahead and write them in the chat. I will be here and keeping an eye on the chat right over here. Yes. So image, let's go selected image equals image. On did cancel, I'm just going to print out image picker was cancelled. Okay, image picker was cancelled. So I think that's basically it. Let me just see if I need to add anything else here. Yes, so allows editing. So and there's an issue here. What's wrong? Let's see. Let's hit Command B. Maybe we should get rid of this. It should be. Okay, build has succeeded. So I want to set is, so allows editing basically to set to true. So let's just go in the image picker view and let's create an initializer here. So yeah, we have our delegate, and let's just add it right over here under the delegate, or yeah, because it will be the first, let's just create let allows editing, and that will be a boolean value, and let's just add it here again. Let me just copy this out. Allows editing of type bool, and the default value will be true for this. Yeah, if you don't want to set this, then on the initializer you could just say set it to false. Now that we got our allows editing, all we have to do is just add it also here. Oh yeah, and we need to just add it here, self allows editing equals allows editing, and now we can use that. So controller dot allows editing equals allows editing. Okay, so now if you just start typing again the image picker view initializer, you will see that it will have an option with allows editing. And I think that's just it. Let me just go back to our other view here. Let's see what we got here. Let me just go to tab 5 view. I think that's it. So let's build and run and test it out. So basically now you have an image picker view with the UI image picker controller added in there. So let's just tap on that. Let's select an image here. Yeah, and if you just hold down Alt, you can just scale it because it is editable by default. Let's just choose that. And there we go. Yeah, I told you there were some issues with double tapping or triple tapping that to dismiss. Now we have this nice corner radius like circle, because the width and the height are twice as much as the corner radius that I have set. There we have it. We have that. And of course, if I just tap on it again, we can also change it. There we go. Really, really nice. So now you know how to create an image picker view with the help of UI view controller representable. And I know this is a mouthful, but yeah, this is stage 1 done. So we are complete with setting up an image picker view. And we have some other comments here. Thank you for great lecture, Alex. Well, thank you, Masha. Well, yeah, it's so hard here. I'm butchering all the names, and I apologize in advance for all of you. Okay, let's move forward. Let's take a look at our next thing. What do we have to do? Well, next up, we want to add into this actually SwiftUI. We want to have our own view controller added. So let's create a settings view controller. It will not be relevant to the settings, but yeah, settings view controller, that is what we are going to add, and we are going to kind of host it into our SwiftUI view with the help of our UI view controller representable again. Okay. Also, I have just received that there are many likes here, so thank you for the likes. And if you haven't liked this video, what are you doing? Go ahead and smash that like button so others can also see this video on their feed and they can learn how to add UIKit into SwiftUI and SwiftUI into UIKit with the data handling. And you will see in the following minutes or maybe an hour. Okay, settings view controller. We need to create a UIKit view controller. So let's just create a new one here. So new file, Swift file. Click on next here, and settings view controller. Okay, let's create that. And while we do, I just go. Okay, what do we want to do here? So basically, we just want to create a class, and it will be of name settings view controller. Let's just paste it in there, and its superclass will be our UI view. Yes, so let's just import UIKit first. UI view controller. View controller. There we go. And of course, this needs to have our view.load super.view.load. Yeah, and we are going to have a lot of UIKit stuff here. So yeah, if you're interested, you can, yeah, you could just learn a little bit of UIKit here. But yeah, because we are going to also not just add UIKit view controllers into SwiftUI, we're also going to talk about data handling. We are going to add in here also some buttons and all of that good stuff. So let me just see what we need here. Yes, let's just create a function here called change background. So func change background. And this will need UI color of type UI color. You guessed it. And this will just grab the view and its background color and set it to this UI color. Now you might be wondering why I didn't just add it onto the view.load. Well, you will see in just a moment because we are going to actually use this function. So change background. Let's just use color here and also color. And let's just set this first for system background. Okay, so what else do we want to add in here? Well, maybe let's just add in here one, yeah, let's just add in here one button because, yeah, we should see something. Or, yeah, before we do that, let's just set this to red and let's move on incorporating our view controller, and then we'll take care of the buttons. Okay, so we got our settings view controller. Now we want to create a settings view, actually, that will be a UI view controller representable again. And let me just do that right over here. Sorry about this. So let's create a new file. And this will be again a Swift file because this will be a UI view controller representable again. So settings view, there we go. And yeah, you kind of know the drill. So I would just go through this quite quickly. So let's create a struct. Let's name it settings view. There we go. And this will adhere to our UI. Yeah, and we also need to import. Well, let's see, UI. Yeah, UI view controller representable is part of SwiftUI. So view controller representable. Yes, we don't need to import UIKit here. Anyway, so now we just need to add our type alias, not this one, or let's just rely on this fixing. Okay, UI view controller type, it will be our settings view controller. Really, really nice. Now you can see that the power of our type alias that we declared it. So next up, we have our make UI view controller, and it will create a settings view controller. Next up, we have our update, so we get rid of that nasty error there. And yeah, we can just move on. We are going to talk about this update view controller in just a bit, but for now, let's just create our controller here, controller, and that is our settings view controller. And then, yeah, we are going to use delegates here, but not just now. So return our controller. And that is it. Honest to God, this is everything that you have to have. Just go settings view and just add it to the tab 5 view. And this is a VStack, so yes, I can just add it right over here. And I will remove the spacer because these views, and I was talking about, I don't know, maybe it was in section lesson 2, that there are pull-in views and push-out views. Well, these are push-out views. They will try to use as much space as they have. So let's just see this. Let's just build and run. And while we do that, let me just remind you again of taking your SwiftUI knowledge to the next level, and that is SwiftUI Camp. Better apps, less code, with a coach. Yes, I will be coaching you, and this will take 2 months, and it will start next Monday, so January the 18th. So if you are eager to learn even more SwiftUI and data handling in SwiftUI, go ahead and check out store.rebeloper.com/SwiftUI-camp. The link is on the description also, and also on the screen right now. And yeah, what this basically is, and yeah, I will close this at midnight, so in about 4.5 hours, 5 hours. And yeah, also if these 2 seats will be taken, I will also close this camp. Okay, so we are going to build out the iMessage app. We are going to take a look at authentication, changing profiles, the conversations list view, and the conversation view. And here we are going to add some text, images, and also these smart URLs that I was talking about, where you can get the rich metadata from that site, or yeah, the URL from YouTube or whatever. Okay, so this will take 2 months. So we are going to have 2 sessions per week, 2 hours each session, and 1.5 hours I just code away and I just teach whatever I have to do on that session. And after that, Q&A, half an hour, you ask me questions, I try to answer them, and as best as I can, of course. And yeah, you get feedback, I get feedback. Q&As are so awesome. So even for the Q&A, so 16 half-hour Q&As, well worth that money. Okay, so yeah, why do you need this coaching session? Well, basically because you will not find this anywhere on the internet. So you will not just be able to just Google around like, how do I use data with SwiftUI? Go ahead and try to search for using data with SwiftUI. You are not going to get good results on that. And the basic point of SwiftUI is that it is data-driven. Yeah, many tutorials kind of skip this part and go to the shiny stuff of laying out stacks and images and whatnot. But if you really want to learn SwiftUI, you have to learn how to manage data. That is what we are going to do in Module 2. And of course, the architecture is MVVM. And because this is a chat app, of course, we are going to tie it to a backend. My favorite service for the backend is Firebase. We are going to use sign in with Apple and saving all of our users and messages with a CRUD, of course, create, read, update, delete, to Firebase Firestore. And it will be a real-time chat logic, because yeah, chats where messages need to be real-time. Also, we are going to support text, images, and links, as I told you. Now, the good part here, besides the Q&A, is that you are going to have a 4th module. Yes, you are going to have a 4th module, which basically is you asking me any questions that you want. So before we even start the sessions, you just let me on a whole list, and I will try to incorporate all of this into the knowledge base that I will give you. So let's say whatever you want to ask me about SwiftUI, I don't know on top of my head, but yes, that is SwiftUI Camp. Go ahead and join now. I will close the doors in about 5 hours, and it will not be open for at least 2 months now. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. store.rebeloper.com/SwiftUI-camp. And yeah, if you have missed it, yeah, just write me some email so I will let you know when this will be open again. So we left off by adding our kind of custom UI view controller into our SwiftUI view. Not just, let's say, the UI image picker controller, but our custom settings view, which has a nice red, yeah, it's kind of blinding, but it has this nice red background. Okay, so now that we got that, what else do we want to have here? And I will just go through on my list because we are going to cover quite a lot. Okay, so let's go and create some delegates. So yeah, basically we have our view controller, but how would this communicate from UIKit to SwiftUI? And then we are going to go back and communicate from SwiftUI to UIKit. But yeah, that's a whole next thing. Let's go to our setting view, and yeah, let's just create our delegates for that. So let's go to Xcode. Let me just go here and go to our settings view and take a look at how I actually did that. Yes, we do need a settings view controller delegate. So let's just go into the settings view controller and let's create a delegate here. So protocol. Now, if you don't know what delegates are, then you should definitely check out my YouTube video on delegates, protocols and delegates. So delegate, I won't go into details right now because we still have a lot to cover. So what we will do here is just create, let's see, did tab button with an info. So func did tab button with an info, and that info will be a string. So we are not going to also kind of show or tell our SwiftUI view when we did tap or something happened on the settings view controller. We are also going to add some info to it. So for that, we want to create a button. So yeah, let's create our, and while we are here, let's just create our delegate. So var delegate, and that will be of type settings view controller delegate. It will be, of course, an optional. So now we are going to create our button. Again, this is UIKit stuff. You should know if you do want to incorporate UIKit into SwiftUI. So lazy var, and I'm going to name this button 0 because we are going to have more buttons. So it will be of type UI button equals, and let me just move this all the way up so you may see better. So let button equals UI button, and I will make this of style, I believe. No, not style, type dot system. So yeah, it kind of fades when you tap. That's the whole point of setting that. And return our button. There we go. And let's just initialize this button. Now, what do we want to actually add in here? Well, let's just add a title. So button set title, and the title will be kind of long, and tab the UI button. So yeah, there will be a lot of buttons, and I really want to make this really descriptive. So tap the UI button and change the hosting SwiftUI view. And what we are going to change is actually a text on the SwiftUI view. And the control state is normal. And next up, we want to add a target, of course. So button, add target. And on self, let me just grab a snip of water here. Okay, selector, pound selector, and this will be an Objective-C method that we are going to create in just a second. And I will name this button 0 tapped, and event touch up inside. So let's copy out top button 0 tabbed. Let's create an Objective-C func and paste that name in there. Okay, so we got our button set up. What we want to do on the action, because I'm already here, let's just go and call the delegate dot did tab button with info. And for the info, I want to go through some letters and just select random letters here. And yeah, that will be our string. Because, yeah, let me just go and type this out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, Y. Okay, so something like that. And random element. Now this will return, if you weren't blinking, then you saw that it will return a character. So we don't want a character, we actually want a string. And that's really easy to do. We just want to add this into a string, open parentheses, and then just close parentheses. Now this will be an optional, so the random element, we just bang that out because yeah, we do know that we will have an element from right over here. So that's it for our button tab. Next up, we want to add our button onto the view. So let's just create a new function here. Let this be really tidy. and let's just call it setup views. Okay, setup views, and just call it right over here on the view read load. Agoda, can you show your mug? Yes. So it says, please go away, I'm coding. Hopefully you can see that right over there. Please go away, I'm coding. Yes. Good advice for managers. Okay, so yeah, setup views. And here I'm just going to add our button 0. So view dot add subview button 0. Okay, so we added our button 0 to our view. Then we just go. We want to anchor it. Before we do that, we want to go, and it's a long one. So translates auto resizing masks into constraints, and I went there really slow on purpose. But what you have to remember is temic. So temic translates auto resizing mask into constraints. Okay, so let's hit return there, and let's set this to false so we can actually anchor our button. And I want to anchor it on top and centered. So button 0 dot top anchor constraint equal to our views safe area layout guide top anchor. And yeah, I always forget this, but we want to make this anchor, like this constraint active is active equals true. And finally, we just go a button 0 center x anchor constraint, again constraint equal to our views center x anchor, and again is active equals true. And I think we are done with this. Okay, so basically that's it on our side. We got our delegate and it will be triggered. Now the settings view controller, we want to create a delegate. Yeah, thank you. I really do think that is also a cool mug avatar. So let me just go back to our settings view and take a look. Yes, we need to create a delegate on the settings view. So to start off, let's just create it right over here. So this will be a private one because we are going to initialize it through, yeah, we are going to initialize it with an initializer for the settings view. So private let delegate, and that will be the get settings view controller delegate. Okay, so we got our delegate. Now we need to create an init, and let me just close this off. Now this initializer needs to have a delegate, so delegate. But actually we do need to create this delegate as we did with the image picker view. So let me just, for now, let's just comment this out so we don't have all of those errors popping up. So let's create that delegate right over here as an extension. And it will be really, really straightforward, yeah, if you just knew what I was doing last time. So settings view, we need to create an extension, and then just move this all the way up. We need a class, and that will be called the delegate. Okay, and auto completion, come on, and that will be of type MS object and settings view controller delegate. Okay, settings view controller delegate. Now, if you just delete this, you will see that again we need to add in some stubs and delete tab button. Really, really nice. So it's automatically adding that. And what we want to do here is create again a private, like a completion. So whenever we initialize this delegate, we do propagate that info to the actual tab 5 view, so the SwiftUI view. So again, a private let did, let's go did tab button, did tab button also, but this is like it's going to be a completion of string and void. That's that. So before we move forward, we want to create a init also. So init, and we'll just copy this out paste it in there, close that off, and self dot did tab button equals again did tab button. And I believe we need that escaping again, but let's just do that with a fix. Okay, so now we have this did tab button. What we want to go is again did tab button, and we are going to use this one with the info. Oh, sorry, just going to add in info here. So this did tab button, you can see the highlights is that one. Did tab button is the actual delegates method. Okay, so now that we got our delegate right over here, and I think that's kind of finished. Yes, it is. All we have to do is just comment this out, and this delegate should adhere to the delegate. How awesome is that? Just a second here. Oh, 15 likes. I just received that. We have 15 likes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's go for 20. So whoever is watching, go ahead and hit that like button. Let's go to 20 likes, and I will give a shout out there. When we get to 20 likes, I will give a shout out. Okay, so next up, we just go self.delegate equals delegate. So 15 likes in this amount of time is really, really cool. So thank you very much. Okay, so now we got our delegate. Now, whenever we create our settings view, we are asked to provide a delegate. And that delegate will have this did tab button. And it will also have that info on that did tab button. So yeah, let's just start adding it right over to our tab 5 view. Okay, here we have our settings view. So let's hit again Command B. So yeah, we kind of get that failure. And now in the settings view, now we have a delegate. So again, settings view dot delegate, and open parentheses. Now you have access to the did tab button completion. And if you hit return 2 times, we'll see that here we have our string. And I will just call it info, because yeah, it just to adhere to the conventions that I already had. And in this info, yeah, we can just simply use that info to our liking. And what I will do, just go all the way up here and create a state variable. So at state var, and I will just call it info. Why not? And this will be an empty string. Okay, so that's our info, and we will store this info that we got from our settings view controller, whatever, on that info. So self.info, so on that state variable. Okay, so now that we have this state variable with that info, let's just add a simple text. So it will automatically update the view. So I just add it right over here on top of our settings view. So let's just go text, and then yeah, basically, let me just see my wording here. So I thought, yeah, info. So let's just go info. Let's just add those quotes. Info. Just add that. Info. And now we should see whenever we tap on that button, yeah, and we didn't even see the button, so we were coding quite a lot, but let's see if we kind of missed anything or broke anything. Yeah, we didn't break anything, so because the had succeeded. And there we go, we have our background, and I will change this background. Let's just tap on that. And yeah, maybe we need to set the delegate somewhere else. Yes, let's go to our settings view. And here, when we create, yeah, this is kind of the last step, and I always forget this. Controller dot delegate equals delegate. Okay, so we are kind of chaining this together. Awesome. So again, let me just highlight this. This delegate is this one, and this is called with the initializer. Okay, so now let's just tap on here, and we are getting those random numbers. Hooray, hooray! Okay, so yeah, basically that's that. Now we got to our point where we got our UI view controller, we got our kind of events on those UI view controller, and we are propagating that up to our container SwiftUI view, and it's automatic. You know, we have this is our tab 5 view. We have this state variable, so we are storing that info on that state, so it will automatically update the view, and in our case it's just a simple text. Really, really great. Let me just see what else do we have here. Yes, so let's check out our text view. Text edit, and yeah, we have our settings view set up, UI view controller representable. That's done. We have added our delegates, so from UIKit to SwiftUI, we got that. And as I told you, I don't really like this background color, so I do want to change it. But how am I going to change it? We are going to change it with a button tab on the SwiftUI view. So an action in SwiftUI view will be present in the UIKit view controller. How awesome is that? So it's kind of backwards, so the other way around, so to call it. Okay, so yeah, settings view, background color. So what we need to do first is create a button right over here, and let's just add it right over here under the text. Or yeah, let's just move this under the settings view so we don't clutter that. And also I have it on my demo project like so, so why not? So let's just go button. And again, action and label. For the action, yeah, we need a background color. Let me just move this, and for now, let's just add in here a text. And this text will be, again, the wording is really, really important here, because after a while we will have a lot going on here, and you should know exactly what each component does. So change UI view controller background color. Change UI view controller background color. Yes, so whenever we tap on this button, it will change the UI view controller's background color. So for that, we need to have a color, and yeah, basically that will be just a simple state here. Let me just add it right over here at state var background color, and let's just have it as color.red for now. Yeah, so we can see that it is indeed color. And what we are going to do is just go, and for the background color, I'm just going to change that red. So currently all that we are going to do is just change the state. So let's just go color, and I will choose the one with the red, green, and blue. So we need a double here between 0 and 1, and I just go with the random. So random, and the range will be 0 and 1. So yes, I do need 3. And green, blue, the same. Of course, because we're using this one, alpha is 1. So we got our random color there. So next up, we want to incorporate this background color into our image, into our settings view. Sorry, so we are at the settings view right now. So how would we do that? Well, we want to add a binding, because yeah, states, we have our state on the SwiftUI view that is handled, or rather owned, by this SwiftUI view. We want to propagate it down to our settings view controller, by the way, and that is going to be done with a binding. So let me just jump to our settings view, and we will just declare it, let's say right over here, as a binding. Binding, there we go, var, again, background color. And that will be of type color. So yeah, and this will complain that we didn't initialize it, so let's just add in here our background color, and it will be of type, at this point we need to add in a binding, so the type will be binding of type color. Really, really nice. So next up we want to initial, so yeah, add that value. So again, we are going to use the underscore background color because we want to access its wrap value. Don't ask me what that is. Right now, I really want to move forward, but yeah, if you join SwiftUI camp, I will definitely teach you what this does. Okay, so we got our background color there. What we want to do is whenever we get a change on the binding, on the background color, we want to update the view controllers, the setting view controllers background color. Now, here is a good time, and yes, 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 not many tutorials, or yeah, I have to count on my fingers how many tutorials do address update UI view controller here. And we are going to do this right now. So this means that whenever something changes, we can make the change on the UI view controller, the actual settings view controller. So what we're going to do is grab the UI view controller, the settings view controller, and call change, or we could just go with the view, whatever, view.background color. But I already had that function prepared. Now you know why I wanted to create that function. Change background color to, and here we have our UI color. And but this background color is of type color. That's a SwiftUI type. So SwiftUI view rather. So we want to go UI color and just choose the one with the color. We're basically just going to add in background color. And now it will change on the update our view controller's background color. How awesome is that? So let's see this in action. Yeah, I'm just checking if I just missed out anything, but I don't think I did. That should be it. So let me just move till this launches. Yeah, something's broken. Yes, it's missing. So the background color is missing. Yeah, foolish me. We need to add that binding. So $, background color. And now it should work. Hit Command R. And now the settings view will actually have that background color as a binding. So okay, so yeah, you can barely see it here. So I will just add in a padding here before we move forward. Dot padding. And whenever we will tap on that button, we are going to do a data change on the SwiftUI that will be reflected on the UI view controllers on the UIKit side. Really, really nice. How awesome is that? Delightful. Okay, so now you know how you can basically present a UI, so UIKit UI view controller on a SwiftUI view. You know how to just, let me just change this to a more, yes. So you can tap on a UI button, so change something on the UIKit part of our app, and that will be reflected on the SwiftUI part. So there we go, that's a text view. And you also can, this is also on the SwiftUI part, change UI view controller background color button is a SwiftUI button, and that is changing the underlying UI view controller. And you could just do whatever you want. Now you have the routes, and all you have to use is your imagination or basically the scopes of your project, what you want to implement. Okay, so that's that. Let's just move forward because there's much more interesting and fun stuff to do. So let me just move to the next topic. We got our background color. Now, what if we don't want to present a whole UI view controller? What if we want to just present a UI view, let's say a UI label? So UI view representable to the rescue. So we are going to create a title view, and we are also going to kind of remove this text and replace it to that title view. So yeah, it's going to go from UIKit, so the actual data, UIKit, then into SwiftUI, and then back into UIKit, the UI label itself. Hope that's clear, but if not, it will be in just a few minutes because this is a really short one. So let me just go to my title view here, and let's create, let's go to xcode, and now it's time to create a new file, and that will be title view. New file, Swift file, next. Let's just wait for that. Title, view. Okay, so give a thumbs up and maybe subscribe even if you are so excited about having these representables and all the good stuff that you can have. Just think about what you can import from UIKit into a SwiftUI app. So let's just import here SwiftUI. And again, you will know the drill. I will just go really quickly through this and yeah, maybe explain some stuff. So again, we are going to need a struct that will be named title view, and it will be of type UI view representable this time. So UI view representable, so not UI view controller representable. We are going to represent a UI view. So yes, let's just add in here the type alias, and the type alias will be our UI label. Let's just remove this placeholder for the fields, and let's just start typing out make UI view. And it's again kind of the same. Let's just create our label here. Label equals UI label, and then let's just return our label so it will not complain. And let's just style it a little bit. Why not? Label dot text alignment. And you are really silent in the chat. Just let me know your questions, or maybe from where are you from? I would really like to see that chat pop up. Okay, so text alignment should be center because yeah, by default the UI labels text alignment is the leading or left one. Okay, so let's just add a font so we can kind of distinguish this, and the dot font equals UI font. There we go. And I have it here, yes, monospaced system font of size 32, and the weight, let's have it as a bold so we can see that. All right. Okay. And yeah, basically, yeah, we still need to add, even if it will be empty, update UI view, but it will not be empty because, and I will just go forward and just add this binding right over here. It's the same binding stuff as usual. Oh, we have 17 likes already. 3 more likes and we got 20, our goal for today. Well, yeah, maybe there will be more, but yeah, let's just have this kind of play that we should have 20 likes. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so yeah, we got our update UI view, and now let's just create our binding. It's the same logic as we did with the UI view controller representable. We are going to bind a text here, and that will be, of course, of type string. And whenever our binded text will change, we want to change the UI views, that's the label, text. And let's just call this UI label, come on, label, text, and just add in here our binded text. And that's it for the title label. All we have to do is just go back to our our tab 5 view. Let me just navigate also here. So tab 5 view. And what we want to do is just comment this out and go title, come on, title view. And before we go with the title view, we have a comment. Is SwiftUI what you prefer currently? Well, you guess. Yes, definitely, yes. As of SwiftUI 2.0, I'm definitely only SwiftUI. So yeah, there are still a couple of things missing from UIKit. So, but with this lesson that you just follow along, and again, this is a marathon. So you have to rewatch this again and again to completely understand what I'm doing here. But with this knowledge, you will be able to add any UIKit element into your SwiftUI views. And of course, handle the data. As I told you, data is everything for SwiftUI. So here we have our title view, and maybe let's just hit Command B again because it's not auto-completing correctly. And by the way, thank you for the question. I was waiting for a new chat question, Nikesh. I believe maybe I just didn't butcher your name there. So the binding is that info. And currently I'm just going to add in it, yeah, we need to have a binding, so $info. And that's it. Let's just build and run. And now we should see that UI view representable inside our SwiftUI view. There we go, UI label. Yeah, as I told you, UI view controller representables and UI view representables are push out views. So they are going to push out as far as they can to occupy as much space as they can. So that's why we can see this here. So why we just add a height here. And let me just go on and tap the UI button. And it's updating from UIKit into SwiftUI into UIKit. How great is that? So let me just tweak this and add in here, let's say a frame of width, and that is, I don't know, 40, not the width, sorry, we need to have a height. And if I told width, I'm sorry, we need to set the height. So that's that. Let's hit Command R again, and yeah, for 19 likes, one like to go till 20. Yeah, one more like. Okay, so there we go. It's working, really nice. So yeah, we covered quite a lot, but there's still much more excitement to come. So let me just move to the next topic, and that is a hosted SwiftUI view. Okay, so we basically what we did till this point is having a SwiftUI project or SwiftUI view and incorporating into that UIKit elements like a UI view controller or a UI view. In our case, it's a UI label. But what if you have a UIKit project, but you still want to use the powers and the awesomeness of SwiftUI? So from this point onward, we are going to talk about that. We are going to add SwiftUI views into UI view controllers. And I'm just going to use our readily available UI view controller. So yes, hosted SwiftUI view. We want to create an actual SwiftUI view. So let me just move here. So I do have my nodes. Hosted SwiftUI view. Let's just create that. So let's move back to our xcode and again a new file, and that will be hosted SwiftUI view, because that is what we are going to host in our UI view controller. So SwiftUI view, yeah, just select SwiftUI view because yeah, then we get those auto completion, and hosted SwiftUI view. That's right. So let's create that. And basically this is okay. Let me just for now, because we are going to also handle data handling, so we are going to cover data handling. For now, let me just add in here our hosted SwiftUI view. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. So we need to create a setup hosted SwiftUI view in the settings view controller, and that will be a UI hosting controller. Now this is kind of a mouthful, but we are going to take it step by step. So let me just move back and select settings view controller, and also here, so I can just a little bit take a look at my code. Yes, so first of all, let's set up our hosting UI view. Yeah, so right over here, all we have is this button. So what we want to add in here, first of all, yeah, you could just add all of this. So this hosted SwiftUI view on the actual view controller's view, and many times that is what you actually want. You just want to replace the whole view controller with a brand new SwiftUI view. But I went a little bit further. What if you just want to present this inside just a simple view? Basically, UI view that has been added to the view hierarchy of our UI view controller. Basically, the view controller's view is also a view, so it's kind of the same thing. So let's just create a view here. Let hosting UI view, hosting UI view. There we go, and it will be a plain old UI view. Also, we want to initialize here our SwiftUI view, Swift UI view, and that will be our hosted SwiftUI view. And yeah, that's it for now. So what we want to do is just set up the hosting UI view and then host it. So let's just create a new function, set up hosting UI view. Let me just copy this out. Basically what this will do, let's just call a func. So basically what this will do is just add it onto our stack. Let me just double check if that's, yes, that it is. That's indeed what it does. So let me just type this out because it's easier. I can't really copy and paste from here. So let's just go view.add subview, SwiftUI view, hosting, sorry, the hosting UI view. Currently, we are just going to set that hosting UI view up. So it will fill the space from the bottom of our button, UI button, to the bottom of our view controller and to the sides. Okay, so it will fill all over there. So what we want to do is hosting UI view and dynamic, so translates auto resizing mask into constraints set to false. Again, UIKit stuff. Maybe you new SwiftUI learners are bored about UIKit stuff, but yeah, if you want to incorporate UIKit, you have to know UIKit. So again, hosting UI view. Now we want to grab that and let's see, top anchor constraint equal to our button. Come on, button. Oh, not button. So button 0 dot bottom anchor and is active equals true. Come on. There we go. Having a lot of fun with constraints. Well, not really, but that's what it is. So now you can appreciate how easy it is to use SwiftUI. So let's go to bottom anchor constraint. Constraint equal to, and let's grab our view controller's view. Again, bottom bounds bottom anchor. There we go. Again, is active equals true, and hosting UI view leading anchor constraint equal to view dot leading anchor is active equals true. There we go. And let me just copy this out for the trailing anchor. I'm already tired about typing all of this anchor constraining code. So trailing anchor and views trailing anchor. Okay, so that's done. So we have set up our hosting UI view. Now we want to create a setup hosted SwiftUI view. So that's a function that we are going to create. Set up hosted SwiftUI view. And basically this is where the magic will happen. This is where we are going to incorporate the UI hosting controller. So I'm calling this setup hosted SwiftUI view after I set up the hosting UI view on the view load. Yes, just to recap that. So yes, let's create our hosting controller. So let hosting controller. There we go. And that will be a UI hosting. Come on, hosting. Yes, I do need to add in here SwiftUI. So let's just import. Come on. Import SwiftUI. Okay, that's that. So hosting, UI hosting controller, not view controller, sorry. UI hosting controller. And we are going to use the one with the root view. Now the root view is actually our SwiftUI view that we have created all the way up on the properties. And basically that's it. We could just add in here a background. Let's just add it here for now, a background, and we're just going to remove that. So hosting controller dot view dot background color. In the background, I need the background color. And let's just have this system teal. Let's just have yellow. Why not? It just popped up. Let's just use system yellow. And now comes the really important part. So first of all, you want to add it as a child onto this view controller. So self, that's the view controller. Add child and a new view controller, and that is our hosting view controller. And the second step that you want to do is go hosting view controller and did move to parent, and that is self again. So this is really crucial. So you want to have this added, and then you just want to again constrain it, and I think I will just copy this out and just paste it in there, because yes, hosting controller, and we want to grab its view. So dot view translates, so Tamic, that's great. So what I want to do is get its top anchor, and here I just want to have hosting UI view. So we are constraining to the hosting UI view. And again, let me just copy this out, paste that in, paste that in, paste that in. And I do know that we don't need our bottom anchor, so we need our top anchor here. And hosting view replaces this view right over here. Okay, so yes, that is it. And now we should see the system yellow backgrounded SwiftUI view. So yes, fingers crossed, let's see what we got here. So let's give it a run. By the way, if you haven't liked already or subscribed, do so. I do have 19 likes and I'm looking forward to the 20th. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, do so. There's something wrong here. And let's see what we got. Oh, most probably I didn't add that. So I didn't add subview. Let's see. Yes, self-hosting. So this happens quite a lot. So you are trying to lay out views, but you didn't add that actual view to so you didn't add it as a subview. So let me just move that all the way up. And after we take care of our hosting view controller did move, we just go self.hosting UI view. So we do want to add that into our hosting UI view. So add subview and our hosting view controller's view. Otherwise, we don't know how to anchor this. So dot view, there we go. And now we should get ready. Okay, so if you do have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat. Because yeah, I'm eagerly waiting for you. And there we go. We have our SwiftUI view inside our UI view controller. And just to test this, let me just tap on here and just change the view controller's background color. And as you can see, it's changing. But the UI view, SwiftUI view's background still stay the same. So that's it. So let me just remove this. So what else do we want to add here? And I think we are ready to move on to our next step. And yes, that is creating a view model. But the main point here is, again, moving data from the UIKit part to the SwiftUI part, and vice versa. So we are going to go with UIKit to SwiftUI first. And for that, we are going to create a hosted SwiftUI view model. And I'm just going to copy this out from here. And let me just move back to xcode and move this out of the way. And let's just create this. So it's right over here. So yes, you should, if I haven't told you 1,000 times on my YouTube channel, you should always have a view model for your SwiftUI views. So basically that is what we are going to do right now. Swift file. Let's click on next. And let's just paste this in there. We got our view model. And what we want to do is just import SwiftUI. This will be a really kind of simple view model, so-called. Just called a class. but it has the basics of a view model. So yeah, if you don't know how to create a view model, now you know. All you have to do is just adhere this you hosted SwiftUI view model to the observable object. So this object needs to be observable. That's how you would phrase that. And here I'm just going to add a published value. So at published. Now, yeah, this is from SwiftUI, but it has the power of combine, and we are also going to have a little bit of combine at the end of this session, by the way. This is, let's say, incoming, and incoming string. Okay, so this is going to be incoming because it's going to be incoming. And before I just do that explanation, let me just get rid of that error. So we do need a default value for the published variable. So this is going to be called incoming because it's incoming into our SwiftUI view, of course, into the model. So it's coming from the UIKit part. That's why I just called this incoming. So that's that. And now we have to go into our SwiftUI, like the settings view. Not the settings view. We need to go into the hosted SwiftUI view. Let me just move there. Yes, and we are going to add this view model that we were talking about, that we created, as an environment object, so it will be available throughout. Now you could just add it also as a binding or an observed object, but not a binding, an observed object. It needs to be an observed object because this is a class. It's not a struct. So I will just do it as an environment object. So it will be available throughout all the views and the subviews. And if you just navigate away, you can just call upon it. So environment object var, I'm just going to call it view model and just initialize it. Not initialize it because environment objects are not initialized, just access it. Now, let me just add in here, let's see, we are going to need a vstack anyway, so let's just go vstack. Oh, not this one, sorry about that, guys. Let me just move this hello world all the way here. And instead of our hosted SwiftUI view, I want to add in here our, let's see, how should I name this? Yeah, because hello something isn't quite representative of what this will do. So SwiftUI text, yes, this will be a SwiftUI text. So SwiftUI text. And we are going to grab that text that is incoming into the SwiftUI view from the UIKit part, from the view model. View model. I missed an L there, sorry about that. View model and incoming. So now, whatever the view model will have as an incoming will be presented on the SwiftUI and it will automatically update. So let's just go, and where are we hosting this SwiftUI view? Well, we are doing this in the settings view controller, and let me just take a look at how we are actually doing this. Settings view controller. Yes, we just want to create that view model right over here. So whenever we are, yes, right over here. Let me just double check here. I really want to make this for sure. Yes, so and let's just call this SwiftUI view model. So let me just copy this out. It's the model, and that way. So we are initializing it. So again, hosted SwiftUI view and model. Okay, so let me just copy this out, and whenever we are creating our SwiftUI view with the root as a root view, we just go in, we just inject it as an environment object and just paste it in there. Okay, so now it will be available. Whew, really, really nice. So let's just build and run, and let's see what we got here. And yes, next up we want to tap on the button so we can see that we actually have this text updated. Okay. Yes, so let's go into, because what we are trying to do here is change the actual SwiftUI view text from the UI view controller. So to do that, let's go to the settings view controller, or are we already there? Yes, we are. Let's create a new button. So let me just see here, button. Yes, let's just call it button 1. And I'll just copy all of this out to make it a little bit faster. So that's button 1. Let me just take care of the errors. Button 1 tabbed, button 1 tabbed. Of course, we need to remove all of this. We are not going to initialize the delegate. And also the title should be different. And it will be tap the UI button and change hosted, not the hosting SwiftUI view, hosted. And I'm just going to also change hosted SwiftUI text, because as you can see, this will be the SwiftUI text. Okay, now for the button 1, we just want to go and go SwiftUI view model, and this is an observable object, so it is observing the actual incoming. And let's just set this, and I'm just going to copy out this random element right over here. And that's it. So we are going to add that random string to the incoming published var, which will in turn reflect on the SwiftUI, with the magic of SwiftUI, on that SwiftUI text. Okay. So yes, we are expecting a parentheses right over here. All we have to do is just add that button again. So let's see, how should we add that? Yes, so let's just copy this out and paste it again and do the necessary changes. So view button 1. By the way, these copy and pastings are really like dangerous, to say the least. So this will be our button 0. But if you know what you are doing, then it's okay. So let's see. Let's build and run and see what we got here. Yes, so as I told you, we have some issues here. So yes, it shouldn't center. Yeah, we didn't center it. So button 1. To the top anchor, to the bottom anchor. Yes. It turned out I didn't really know what I was doing actually, but now I do. So let's see that second button appear right over there. Or is it? Let's see what. Yes, and the container, so the hosting UI view should be anchored to the button 1's bottom anchor. There we go. Yeah, UIKit anchoring. I know, it's a nightmare. That's why you should definitely use SwiftUI. There we go. So let's just tap on the UI button and change the hosted SwiftUI text. Yes, and again we have those random ones. Really nice. Okay, so that's that. All we have to do now, let's just add a button right inside our hosted SwiftUI view, and let's change something right over here. And let's just add in here a label, because we are already in this view controller. So let's create a label, let's say right over here. Lazy var label. And that will be of type UI label equals let label UI label. Let's return that label. There we go. And let's initialize it. And let's just style it a little bit. Let's have again the text alignment. So label dot text alignment equals dot center and label dot font. Let's see what I got here. Bold system. Yes, that's okay. So UI font dot bold system font of size 24. I guess that was okay. And now we can add that label. So let's just again copy and paste, but this time let us be much more careful with that. So label, there we go. And if you are tired like I am, don't worry, we are getting to the end of this, no worries, in just a few minutes. Okay, so this should be anchored to the button 1's button anchor, and also we should grab the label and anchor the hosting UI view top anchor to its bottom anchor. Okay, so we got our label there, and yes, that's basically it. Let's just create first our button in the hosted SwiftUI view, not the model, but in here. So let me just go here and hosted SwiftUI view. Yes, so let's just create that button right over here. So button, there we go. Again, I'm just going to use my favorite action and label. Let's remove this. Let's add our label first, and let's add a text here. Come on, let's remove that code. And again, this needs to be really like explanatory. Tap SwiftUI button and change UI label text. So tap SwiftUI button. Let's make this capital B because that's a button. And change UI label text. Okay, so that is what we are actually going to do. And for this to work, we need to create another publisher, which we are going to change right over here in the button section. And that publisher, we are going to need to listen to that publisher on the UI view controller. So first thing first, we need to create a publisher, a published variable, not publisher, published var. And this will be outgoing, because yeah, this is, we are going out with the data from the SwiftUI view. And let's just go back then. Let's hit Command B, so we autocomplete, and just go view model dot outgoing, and again let's just use that random string. Where can I find it? Let's see, where was that? Yes, here it is. So let's use that random string. So again, we are going to have a random string. Okay, so now we are publishing to the view model. Let's see what's wrong here. Oh, again, I forgot that parentheses, closing parentheses. Okay, so now we will change the outgoing publisher. What we need to do next is listen to it. And yeah, we are going to use my favorite part of today's tutorial. We are going to use a little bit of combine, and we are going to subscribe to that publisher. So let's go to our settings view controller, and let's create a new function here. So let's call this subscribe to hosted SwiftUI view. So subscribe to hosted SwiftUI view changes. Okay, I know it's a mouthful, but you really have to word that out. Let's scroll all the way down here and let's create that function. Okay, so there we go. And yeah, here is where we are going to need combine. So let's just import it while we are here. So import combine and scroll all the way down. And what we need to do is listen to that published value. So just go view model, because yeah, you view, or was it hosted? Let me just go all the way up and see what I named that view model. So it is, yes, SwiftUI view model. So that's why it's a good thing that we have declared that outside of our function, so we can get its scope. And now we can grab, if you just add a dot, we can grab outgoing, and please choose the one with the $, because we are going to subscribe to that published value, and now we are getting the subscription. And dot, just go sync and receive value. We are going to receive values in time, and yeah, this is from combine, so you want to use that. And as you can see, we are getting the string, and let's just use this as text or whatever. And let's see, let's just add this. So onto our label. So label. And because we are in completion, we just need to have self. And because we are in this subscription, we just want to go week self. We don't want to retain that self question mark. So it will add it automatically, but I will just add it here. Label dot text. Come on, text equals, and again I will just make this really readable of what it actually does, and it's UI label received text. UI label received text, and that is our text. Okay, so whenever we update that published value, this will be automatically notified, so this sync will get us our text and we will update that label. So in order for this to work, let me just put this on a new line. Yeah, we want to come to the main thread, because maybe we are on the background thread, or you are doing something on the background thread and then you are publishing to the outgoing published value. Yeah, just make sure that you go and receive those values on the dispatch queue, dispatch queue dot main. Okay, so that is where you want to receive that, not subscriber, on. So I'm just select the one with the on, please. And it says result sync is unused. So whenever, we are subscribing, but that is retained. So whenever this view controller will be initialized, we want to cancel also the subscription. So in order to do that, we need to create an array of cancellables. And that is pretty straightforward. Let's just go all the way up. So, and this could be private, and I highly recommend this to be private so we don't access it. Var cancelables. Okay, cancellables. There we go. And that is a set of any cancelable. Again, any cancelable comes from combine, and for now that will be an empty array. And let's just grab this and let's just store that subscription right on those cancellables. So dot store in that set and cancellables. Okay, and I want to add this on a different line. And now that warning will go away. And I don't know, did we call this function on the view controller? Yes, on the view did load, sorry. And basically that's it. We have our label there. Whenever we tap, we should have that UI label updated from a SwiftUI view. And that's basically it for today, but let's just test it out first. So UI label receive text. Tap SwiftUI button and change UI label text. So whenever I tap on the SwiftUI button, the UI label text will be changed. So fingers crossed, there we go, it is changing. And of course, all of the other functionality works as well as expected. And I know there has been a lot of coding today, but now you know how to add UIKit stuff into SwiftUI views, and again, SwiftUI views into UIKit, let's say view controllers or views for that matter. And I want to give a big announcement now. I just received that we already have 20 likes. So that was my dream for this video while I'm still live on the live stream to get 20 likes. So thank you for all of those 20 likes, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, this was quite a lot, but we kind of touched everything for UIKit and SwiftUI, but this was kind of even scratching the surface. And trust me, we are only scratching the surface right over here. Now, if you do want to get even more advanced in SwiftUI, I highly recommend checking out SwiftUI Camp. Now, if you just did skip all of the other parts about SwiftUI, yay, 21 likes. Thank you very much. So, SwiftUI Camp is kind of a coaching session that lasts for 2 months. It will be on Zoom, and I will teach only 5 people, and only 2 seats are only available. So 3 seats already taken, and we will start on January 18th. So in about three days, yes, on Monday. So this is going to close in about 4 hours. Midnight, on my time, midnight, I will just close this, and I will not open it for at least 2 months. So yeah, because it will take 2 months to just build out what we are going to build out, and that is the iMessage app. We are going to authenticate with Firebase through sign-in with Apple. We are going to have our profile page, and we are also going to have this conversations list view, and of course the conversation view. So Felipe asks, could we make a video for making beautiful interfaces? Yes, I was thinking about that. I'm considering building out SwiftUI stuff, but what I'm concerned about teaching is handling data, and that is what we are going to do in SwiftUI Camp. We are going to talk a lot about data handling, because basically, and this is again not told throughout SwiftUI teachings, because that's just shiny thing. That's a new shiny thing. You know, just stack here, button there. But on the main part of SwiftUI is that is driven by data. So this module 2, it's all about data. MVVM, data handling. Yeah, you kind of got the gist. No, not the gist. Kind of tasted some data handling here. But there's, trust me, a lot more here, what we have to cover in order for you to utilize SwiftUI as an advanced developer. So yeah, we are going to talk about UI and tips and tricks and how to create lists and all of that good stuff. But we are also going to have this connected to our backend on Firebase Firestore. And yeah, we are going to sign in with Apple, learn how to use Firestore's dependencies with Swift Package Manager. We're also going to interact with the database, of course, create, read, update, and delete users and messages. We're going to set up the real-time chat logic, and of course, sending out text, images, and that rich link that I was talking about. That okay, just try to send a YouTube video on iMessages, and you will see what I mean about rich things. I would say thank you, Alex. Well, you are very welcome. But there's still, this isn't what I'm going to offer in SwiftUI Camp. There's also kind of a 4th module where you decide what I will teach you about SwiftUI, about Combine, about Firebase, whatever you like, or whatever you feel that you need to learn in order to make better or greater SwiftUI apps. I will teach you kind of a module few. I will just integrate that into those SwiftUI sessions. Just to remind you, 16 Zoom sessions, 2 sessions per week. Each session will be 2 hours long, 1.5, just building out that iMessage app, and half an hour Q&A. Now, Q&A is really nice. I hope you also kind of realize that in the chat, you just had a question, I just answered that. Now, that's the power of it. Whatever you have doubts with, or you are not, you are in the gray, I will help you with that. So it's a really nice feedback on that half an hour Q&A. Again, this will be closed in about 4 hours, midnight tonight. Go ahead and check it out. It's on store.rebeloper.com, SwiftUI-camp. The link is on the screen right now, and it is also going to be down in the description. So that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed SwiftUI. Hope you enjoyed this series, SwiftUI. What's it called? SwiftUI. So yeah, go ahead and check out SwiftUI Camp. And as usual, I will see you in the next one.